What's up, everybody? It's Nathan here. Main account is N Boston US, 114 overall. Been playing for about 3 or 4 years. I don't really know. It's been a while. But just going to be making a quick tutorial on exactly how to set up Knox, which is an Android emulator to use for farming with MLB 9 innings. So for starters, I got a fresh install on my laptop, so I'm going to go through the step-by-step process of how to get Knox installed on your computer, and then getting MLB 9 innings up and running on that. So with that being said, I am remoted into the laptop that I use, and we will get started. So first off, I'm going to put a couple links in the description below. You're going to want to follow those. Basically, the first link is going to be to install WinRAR, which is basically an application that you use to open up zip files. And then once you have that, you're going to download this file, which I've already done, basically that has the correct version of Knox that you have to use. The only one that currently is working to my knowledge is anything below 6.6.0.10, and the one that comes in this is 0.9, so this one should work. And then it also comes with a base 4 disk file that you need in order to get it to let you run the Android 4, because I believe that's the only version that works as well. So let's get started. I already have both of those installed, so I can close this out. We're going to go ahead and run this guy. All right, it's going to ask for administrative credentials. Hit yes. And you're going to want to run the install. You shouldn't have to adjust anything here. You can install it wherever you want. Yep, you can just go ahead and hit install. Okay, so now that this is installed, we're going to go ahead and hit start here. And it's going to launch one of the Android emulators. Now, this isn't the one you're going to end up using, because you're going to want to actually delete this one and install or create an Android 4 emulator. I believe, yep, this one is Android 5, so we'll have to create the Android 4 version. Go ahead and close out of this, close the emulator. Okay, so this base 4 disk, we're going to work with that now. You'll have to navigate to go to your C drive, and then go to your program files, find the Knox folder, find the bin folder, and what you're going to see in here is that there is a disk file for 5, but there isn't one for 4. So what you're going to need to do is move this guy into there. So basically this is going to allow you to create the Android 4 emulator. So those are the only two things you need out of here. You can go ahead and close out of WinRAR. You can close out of this file explorer as well. Then we're going to open the multi-drive. This is where you can basically create multiple instances of Android emulators. So we're going to delete this one because this is the Android 5. It's not going to work. We're going to come down here, hit the 3 dots, and create a basic Android 4 emulator. It's going to create that. All right, so the emulator's created. Now what you're going to do is adjust the settings on this guy. So by default, it's going to have it set to really high settings. And if you have a good computer with a lot of CPU, great. It should work fine on that. But you really don't need this much resources to run an Android emulator that is running one application. So what I usually do, you can do the 1 core. That's usually what I do, 2048 memory. But you can also, if it doesn't work very well on your computer, you can adjust it to custom settings. I think on this laptop before I was using 1400. That should be just fine. You don't really have to mess with the other startup settings. I usually set the frame limit down to 20 or 30. You don't really need much because really the point of all this is to set this up for farming. So you're not going to be doing a bunch of like arcade or clutch hits. You can do rank play and all that jazz, but this is mainly for people that want to farm league play and get all those resources. So I adjusted the performance settings, adjusted the frame settings. That's about all I'm going to touch here. I'm going to hit save, hit yes, close out of that. Over here, you can name it to whatever you want it to. I'm going to name this my team name, just so I know, because I'm going to end up having 3 emulators on this computer, because I farm 3 on this one usually. So, but for now, I'm just going to make the one. I'm going to hit play on this. It's going to launch. It's going to be a pretty big screen. You can adjust it to however size you want it to. What I usually do, and it's pretty neat. Once you resize the screen, it'll remember it for the next time. So, okay. Now that the emulator's launched, I'm going to kind of adjust it on my screen. Make it a little bit smaller. I'll most likely end up having it be like, probably that size. You don't really need it that big when it's, farming league, because all you really do is, press play, create a macro, start that up, and it'll just, feed through league play over and over and over again. So for right now, I'll leave it big so you guys can kind of see. So from here, what you're going to need to do, let's go to settings, because in order to install any applications, you obviously have to be tied to a Google Play account or just a Google account in general. So what you're going to do is go down to add account here in the settings. I have a Google account, so I'm going to select that. It's an existing account. And then I'm going to fill in my information here. Okay, so I have my information in there. I'm going to hit go. By signing in, blah, blah, blah. You agree. Okay. Now for me, since I have 2-factor authentication set up, it's going to open up a web browser. You're going to have to accept it from your phone or your email or, whatever device your 2-factor authentication set up on, which I highly suggest having. I'm an IT professional. I definitely suggest having 2-factor authentication for almost any account that you can. Once that's done, you just go ahead and go to the next screen again. And boom, there you have it. Your account is set up. So from there, you can come down here. This just opens up the tabs. You can close out of settings. You don't need it anymore. Now from here, we can start downloading the application. So we're going to type in MLB 9 innings. Hit search on that. Boom, MLB 9 innings 22. Hit install. Hit allow on these. We're going to select Play Store and always open with a Play Store. And then from this screen, you're just going to hit install. Now it's going to take a few minutes, obviously, just like downloading any large application on your phone. It's going to take a few minutes to download all that, so we'll be right back. Okay, so now that's installed, we're going to go ahead and close out of all this. We don't need those anymore. And that's going to take you back to the home screen. And there you have it. Now you see MLB 9 innings 22 installed. Now we're going to go ahead and open MLB 9 innings 22. And from here, it's basically going to go through the atypical, when you're installing the game. It's going to go through the loading screen. You're going to have to download all those initial resources. So typically it's around 600 megabytes. So it takes a few minutes, obviously, to do that. But once you get past all of that, it's going to bring you to the sign-in screen like you usually see when you're signing into your phone for the first time. So you'll want to know your sign-in information for that. As always, don't share your sign-in information with anybody. You don't want your account getting stolen or anything like that. So we're going to give this a couple minutes to get past this loading screen, and then we'll be back. Hey, everybody. So as you can see, I got my macros up and running. Yeah, once you get logged in to the game, it's all basically straightforward, same as your phone. The only thing that you're going to want to do is create some macros. Where you can find your macros, it's going to be right here in these 3 tabs, and then hitting the macro icon. That's going to open this little window, and you're going to want to record a macro. So this icon right here, you'll have to create your own macro. I know people sell macros out there. You can obviously go buy a macro. Obviously, it's probably going to cost you a pretty penny, but it might save you some time. If you have the time to create your own, I definitely suggest doing so and save you some bucks. But yeah, you'll just want to create a macro. You'll have to go in here and click through all the menu items, and then from there you'll be farming away. A few settings I'd turn down. you'll want to turn music effect, all that stuff off. Turn relay off, and then you'll want to turn power save mode off. You don't want it going into power save, because power save will mess up any macros that you create. So turn all that stuff off. But other than that, guys, it's pretty straightforward. You guys know what to do from there. If anybody wants to add any of my accounts, I got all 3 of them right here. It's going to be and Boston US. That's my 114 overall. Boston Lulz, about a 98. Hondo AJ is an account I picked up. That one's about 96, I think. I got a few others, but these are my 3 main ones that I mess with. I think I have a Cubbies account as well, but main account's the Boston US. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the comments below. Otherwise, my Discord is Boston #0016 if you have any questions. I also run a Discord community. It's called 9 Innings Community. I'll put a link in the description. You can always jump in there, ask questions and stuff. So that's all I got for you guys. Best of luck out there, and see you later.